Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor S.P. Singh from Faculty of Management Studies, Gurukul Kangadi University, Haridwar. Today we are going to study Module 28 on Executive Remuneration. After studying this module, you shall be able to know the concept of executive remuneration, identify the components of executive remuneration, understand the features of executive remuneration, comprehend the payment of higher remuneration to executives, understand the issues raised in paying more to managerial executives. Executive skill largely determines whether a firm will prosper, survive or fail. A company's program for compensating executives is a crucial factor in attracting and retaining the best available talent. Therefore, in spite of the growing criticism of excessive pay, providing adequate compensation for the managers is vital. Pay is the only part of the story. Executives frequently operate under bonus and stock option plans that can drastically increase their total compensation. A senior executive of Occidental Petroleum, Viacom, Oracle, DirecTV, Comcast, Walt Disney or Time Warner can in a good year earn total compensation package towards $50 million. Executive also receive perquisites or special benefits that others do not. For the purpose of remuneration, an executive is considered to be an individual who is in a management position at the highest level. Specifically, this category includes presidents, vice presidents, managing directors, and general managers. Their remuneration generally comprises 6 elements, which include salary, bonus, long-term incentives and capital appreciation, perquisites, golden handshake. Although the salary may not represent the largest portion of the executive's compensation package, salary is obviously important. It is a factor in determining the executive's standard of living. Salary also provides the basis for other forms of compensation. For example, it may determine the amount of bonuses and certain benefits. Bonus plays an important role in executive payment program. This type of incentive is usually short term and is based on performance. There are almost as many bonus systems as there are companies using this form of executive remuneration. In some systems, the annual bonus is tied by the formula to the share price or the return on investment. Other bonus plans are based on the subjective judgment of the board of directors and the chief executive. The bonus is then distributed either in accordance with the present formula or on the basis of subjective judgment. Executives deserve bonus because they have much more opportunity to influence organizational success than non-managerial staff. The stock options are long-term benefits offered to executives. Companies allow executives to purchase their shares at fixed prices. Stock options are valuable as long as the price of share keeps increasing. The share price crashes when the company starts incurring loss and executives stand to lose in the process. Stock options are attractive to shareholders too, but an option is not a bonus. Executives must use their own resources to exercise their right to purchase the stock. The executives are assuming the same risk as all other shareholders, namely that the price could move in either direction. Options are a form of profit sharing that links the executive's financial success to that of the shareholders. Finally, stock options are one of the few ways to offer large rewards to executives without the embarrassment of millions of dollars of obvious money changing hands. Nevertheless, the risk factor in this type of incentive may be too great for it to be attractive to executives. Perks are any special benefits a firm provides to a group of key executives designed to give the executive benefit and something extra. Perks constitute a major source of income for executives. Perks take care of all possible needs. Executives are rarely required to spend money from their pockets. However, current legislation restricts the value of executive benefits to a certain level above that of other workers. In addition to conveying status, these rewards are either not considered as earned income or else the government axes them at a lower level than ordinary income. Popular perks include the payment of life insurance premiums, club memberships, company automobiles, account for liberal expenses, insurance for supplemental liability, accounts for supplemental retirement, post-retirement consulting contracts, and personal, financial, tax and legal counseling. Some also may be given mortgage assistance. A golden parachute contract is a perquisite that protects executives in the event that another company acquires their firm or the executive is forced to leave the firm for other reasons. Today's severance package for CEOs is typically several times an annual salary and bonus and accelerated vesting of options. Because the competition for top executives is severe, in many cases CEOs have to commit a serious crime to be ineligible for severance. Most organizations, executive pay is not supposed to be based on individual performance measures, but rather on unit or organizational performance. The reason is that an executive's own performance is assumed to be directly reflected in measures of unit or corporate performance. Considerations must be given to the structure of the incentive arrangements and the performance measures on which incentive compensation will be based in practice. Incentives are important in determining executive compensation. Although various performance measures are used to determine payouts, most management incentive plans are formula driven. Plans based on financial measures such as return on equity, profit before or after tax, and return on invested capital. Several special considerations complicate the process of determining executive compensation. For example, because executives generally enjoy a high base salary, compensation arrangements seek to minimize their income tax liability. Attention to tax considerations can make a large difference in the after-tax income of an executive. Another consideration has to do with non-financial incentives, the perquisites associated with the executive position. Executive compensation has 4 distinct characteristics. 6 distinct compensation components: salary, annual incentives, long-term incentives, benefits, perquisites, and severance change in control agreements constitute an executive pay arrangements. The majority of compensation of most executive pay packages arrives in the shape of company stock. Executives' pay packages are so designed that the major portion of an executive's compensation is conditional on a company accomplishing predetermined criteria of particular financial results and strategic goals. Even after financial or strategic criteria for an award is fulfilled, full ownership of the equity awards are often conditional on the executive's compliance with some agreements. Designing an executive compensation package begins with determining the organization's goals, its objectives, and the anticipated time for achieving them. It is advisable to obtain advice on tax and accounting implications for both the executive and the company. The primary components may include employment or severance agreements, incentive compensation, and supplemental retirement plans. The executive package depends on the magnitude of the responsibility, risk, and effort shouldered by the chief executive as a function of the firm's scale. Organizations typically prefer to relate salary growth for the highest level managers to market rates and overall corporate performance, including the firm's market value. For the next level of management, they integrate entire corporate performance with market rates and internal considerations to come up with appropriate pay. For the lower level managers, market rates, internal pay relationships, and individual performance are critical factors. In using market pricing, organizations utilize compensation survey data to determine pay levels for a representative group of jobs. These data are available from various sources. With corporate scandals fresh on everyone's mind, it is imperative that management reinforces trust in our economic system. Perceptions of executives receiving obscene levels of compensation do not help in this regard. Therefore, top HR executives who know their company's business must play a key role in this endeavor and assure reasonable and ethical behavior. They can perform this duty working with their firm's compensation committee. This group usually consists of several members of the board of directors who meet periodically and recommend executive compensation. HR can make certain that this group has a relevant, fair and accurate information for decision making in collaboration with consultants and management. Executive compensation in India is basically built around three important factors: job complexity, employer's ability to pay, and executive human capital. The size of the company, as gauged by its sales volume, earnings and assets growth, the geographic dispersal of the unit, etc., determine the complexity of a chief executive's job. The employer's ability to pay is also a major factor to be considered while deciding executive compensation. For instance, a sick bank cannot bear to pay the same sort of salary to its executives as a healthy and growing bank does. The economic theory of human capital says that the compensation of a worker should be equal to his marginal productivity. Friends, in this module, you have studied the concept, the components, features of executive remuneration, the payment of higher remuneration to executives, and the issues raised in paying more to managerial executives. Thanks for visiting EPG Pathshala.